the coronavirus first impacted our state in March, that there was a great deal of communication from the state office, which was really helpful. We were able to control our numbers. We were able to not put stress on our rural hospitals, and we had clear instructions about what we should and should not do. Then, as we began to open up our state, I think things got a little murkier. The communication wasn't as strong. There were just more suggestions, CDC guidelines, but there weren't real mandates. And I heard from a lot of business owners here in Great Falls that that was very difficult to ask their employees to try to, enforce a mask wearing policy or stay 6 feet apart or any of these kinds of recommendations that we knew would protect our health. So when Governor Bullock did come out with a mask mandate, businesses were very grateful because they said it was very clear what they needed to do. I think one of the great tragedies, besides all of the people who have lost their lives during this terrible pandemic, is that we have politicized public health, and we don't trust we do not trust our public health officials. And there are also public health officials who maybe have let some of their own personal ideology influence what they were communicating to the public. And that is a tremendous tragedy because public health is here to protect your health and to keep you safe and, frankly, keep us alive. Our ballots now are very secure for a couple of reasons. First of all, mail-in elections have been very popular in Montana for a long time. Many people have only voted by mail, some of them their entire life. They've never gone to a polling place. And even though it is sort of this sense of community when you do get to go to a polling place and cast your ballot, it's just not practical for so many people. So a mail-in ballot has been safe and secure and really virtually no evidence of fraud. But in this particular election, there's a great deal of misinformation that came out when we thought we were going to have an all mail-in ballot. And so people were worried that people who weren't registered to vote were going to get a ballot. They were worried that if they didn't mail it in almost immediately, it wouldn't be counted. And, our Postal Service did some things that made everyone feel very insecure. Taking away post office boxes, reducing lobby hours, the sorting machines, and just made you feel like I can't trust the mail, which is a terrible thing because especially here in Montana, we rely on the mail to deliver our paychecks. I mean, I still get paychecks in the mail, and to deliver medicine, job applications come and go through the mail again, especially when broadband is a little iffy. There's so many things that are important that come in the mail. So one thing that happened is Governor Bullock sued the post office, and Rafe Graybill argued the case, and the state of Montana won. So the post office has to go back and put in all the things that they took out that maybe might have suppressed the vote. And they have to be especially careful about reinstating everything to make sure that your ballot is delivered to you securely and that it comes back securely. And that's not just good for Montanans. That ruling applies to every single state in our union. And I want to let voters know too about one thing too, that when you get your mail-in ballot, there is a code. And after you mail it in, or if you drop it off, you can check where that ballot is, where it is in the process. And if for some reason you've made a mistake or your ballot wasn't delivered or anything goes wrong, go to our election office here in Cascade, which is on 2nd Avenue, and get a new ballot. And the staff there will help you and make sure that you can vote securely. I would not support a statewide sales tax. I believe a sales tax is a regressive tax and that people with lower incomes have a greater financial burden with that tax. They are 2 initiatives on the ballot. So therefore, I think the citizens and voters of Montana are going to decide whether or not they want recreational marijuana. Yes, I do support the Affordable Care Act, but I will admit it's not perfect and what legislation is. But the main reason that I really support the Affordable Care Act is because of Medicaid expansion. You know, the first time around in 2017, it did not pass, but in 2019, the legislature made a bipartisan effort with the Solutions Caucus to pass Medicaid expansion, and 90,000 Montanans were able to have healthcare coverage. And this is really filling in that gap between the people that don't qualify for Medicaid, but yet can't really afford the private insurance on the exchanges. And so I can't say how important it is, especially right now during a pandemic, that we have more of our community covered under health insurance. We have to have quality health care if we are going to thrive as communities. And honestly, if we don't have access to quality health care, it costs us so much more in the long run. So from voters in my district, there's really two issues that almost everyone talks about. And the first of that issue is funding for our public schools. You know, I live in a district that has really quality public education, and the concern is how are we going to fund it going forward to continue to provide this excellent public education that we've provided in Great Falls. And so that's a huge concern because our funding, the way that we fund is about enrollment, and with the pandemic, enrollment is down. So there's a lot of concern about that. And not only concern about, you know, funding, you know, the students and teachers and for their education, but it's also the fact that the schools provide a social safety net for children in our community. And those are issues around food insecurity, around homelessness, and also around child abuse and neglect. And as funds get tight, those funds tend to disappear. And currently, the funding that we're using to support some of these social service issues are federal grants. And that is maybe a very iffy situation going forward. And there's a great deal of concern about that. And the second thing that I hear from pretty much everyone is there's a great deal of concern about the divisions in our country. And I would even go so far as to say that there is some grief that we can't come together as communities to look at the challenges that we are facing. My community wants politicians to work together to offer bipartisan solutions that really benefit everyone in the community, instead of depending on ideology or this idea that you have your party over people. And those are concerns that they express to me, and they say how important it is that they want a community where they feel safe and where they can thrive and where we can face our challenges and then celebrate our successes together as a thriving community. You should vote for me because I have the Montana work ethic, and I will show up every single day at the legislature and work really hard for my constituents and my community of Great Falls and the entire state of Montana to provide solutions that truly are bipartisan and will benefit almost everyone in our community. I think it's really important that you have a public official who really is committed to reaching across the aisle, but also very firm in what they believe, so that you don't just, you know, we have to learn to bend but not break. And when we do that, we find solutions that really will propel Montana and Great Falls forward.